afternoon. My name is Scott Jansen. I'm with Avtex, and I have Peter on here with Thunderhead. And we want to take this morning's webinar to talk about kind of the understanding of the journey of what your customers are going through. And this really is an extremely important thought process as we think about it here at Avtex and kind of the entire customer experience. And for us, the way we think about it is we're all competing with Amazon, right? And the reason I say that is Amazon really creates an amazing customer experience, whether it's just ordering groceries or ordering other things online or a number of their other services. And the reason this becomes extremely important is we are rating the experiences that we're having with Amazon and judging those against the next experience we're going to have across any industry. And the reason I say this and the reason I think this is important is I have a customer here in Minnesota, and they make beds, right? They're fantastic at making beds. They're fantastic in the market. They're a very well-known name. But one of their executives looked at me and said, I'm really frustrated with Amazon. I'm even frustrated with Uber because the people that are purchasing beds from me are judging me based on that last best experience that they had with either of those two companies or even any other company that they had an experience with, and they have nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. So now I need to bolster my experience to match what's going on in the marketplace, and it's not just against other bed makers, right? So this becomes extremely important, again, as we're trying to judge what that looks like and how are we rating ourselves, how our customers are experiencing us. So at Avtex, we really see this as, how can we make those connections that matter and understand what customers are going through and to help them out. And I've asked Peter to join me today from Thunderhead to talk about how they look at the customer experience and how they begin to look at all the different channels that customers are getting to us from, whether it's web, whether it's mobile, whether it is a physical interaction, whether it's email, right? And they're really understanding what that means, and then they're looking at the experience and seeing what is successful in those experiences and what maybe need to be fine-tuned and isn't being successful, so those next best experiences can be tracked. So with that, this is really a webinar to help understand what Thunderhead can do and how that can work along that customer journey and really start to create some metrics about what that means. So I'm going to pass it over to Peter here and let him continue. And as you may be able to hear, I'm at the airport right now and I need to honestly go catch a flight. So Peter, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you continue with the program here, and I will change over presentation rights. There we go.
Great. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy days today to spend a little time with us. And just quick agenda, give a really brief introduction to Thunderhead so you have a little bit of context for where we're coming from. We'll spend a few minutes talking about what is engagement and why is it so hard? What are some of the things that you might be struggling with when you think about customer engagement? We'll take a look at how the One Engagement Hub was really purpose-built to tackle some of those really pressing challenges we see brands struggling with. We'll look at a brief example of one in action in an omni-channel engagement way. And then we'll kind of wrap up with a few examples of some brands who are using One to make it happen today. So again, just really briefly as a way of introduction, Thunderhead's been around for about 12 or 13 years as a company, and the One Engagement Hub has been in development for a little over 3.5 years with about $85 million invested in it. And it's based upon research project that we've had on an ongoing basis called Engagement 3.0 that is a framework for analyzing and looking at all the different factors that contribute to engagement. The economic factors from a brand point of view, psychological factors, consumer research, analyst research, and all of that is an ongoing set of research that we use, and the report is freely available if you're interested. But it serves as the foundation for what are some of the things that are out there that are not being that's not solved with existing marketing technology that we needed to build this One Engagement Hub around. So specifically, what is engagement and what are some of those challenges that make it so hard? So thought we would just start with what's our definition of engagement, because there's obviously many definitions out there in the marketplace, varying definitions, some even misuses of the term engagement and customer journey. So really want to kind of set the definition as we see it as being an ongoing exchange of information, exchange of value between both the brand and the consumer or customer, and it's got to be bidirectional. Some important things about that from our perspective is that it has to be ongoing. It's not just a one-time. It's not one directional. It's not the brand simply trying to sell, and it's also not the consumer simply trying to have a more personalized experience. It really has to be the combination of all those things, mutually beneficial, but rooted in the individual. The individual consumer is very much at the foundation of all of that, and I'm sure all of you know that we're in the age of the customer, that one of the things that makes this particularly hard excuse me, is the overwhelming number of choices that customers and consumers have for engaging with a brand. How they research a product, how they research your brand, all the different channels and touch points and sources of information is significant, and the behavior is very unpredictable. If you're in a marketing role at your organization or in an engagement role at your organization, it's very challenging for you to have programs that predict and can consistently drive customers through engagement, through a marketing funnel or through a journey, kind of however you think about it, because you don't know which channels they're going to interact with, when, how frequently, when they're going to switch from channel to channel, etc. And then if you think about another element of that challenge that we're seeing becoming more and more understood, is that there's this other axis of engagement, which is that the customer isn't simply engaging with you in one conversation or around one product. So it becomes increasingly complex to think about engagement through the lens of a persona or a segment, because those tend to be one-dimensional, and this customer in this example is in fact interacting with this brand as a user and advocate of one product, a user but not yet an advocate of another product, and then in some sort of consideration or evaluation of several other products. So how do you engage with him? Do you try to engage with him around one of the products that he is evaluating, or one of the products that he's using? Or what if he has a customer service case open with this product that he's using, and that's why he's not an advocate yet, because he's got an issue, some sort of service issue. So when you want to engage with him, do you try to get him to convert or sell him one of these products he's considering while he still has an open case with this other product that he's using? So it raises all types of complexity when you have that dimension of multiple journeys combined with the omni-channel element. So we call, where all of those things come together, that specific set of problems, we call that the engagement gap, which is where the individual customer is expecting a seamless connected experience, regardless of how he chooses to interact with the brand. If he's on the web, he expects to have a similar experience to how he engages with you in a physical branch or lobby of your company or on your mobile app. But meanwhile, as a brand, often you've got investments in technology that are disconnected, delivering a disconnected experience, because the brand has invested in a specific technology for a specific channel. It's the web channel, or it's the mobile channel, or it's the call center channel, and so that creates a gap between what he's expecting and what you're able to deliver as he goes through his process of engaging with you. So again, we call that the engagement gap, and that's specifically the set of problems that one was built to solve. So what is one? It's specifically called the One Engagement Hub, and it's an omni-channel solution that allows you to have a continuous conversation with your customers as they move through different channels and touch points that you've got to interact with them, and allows you to listen to them everywhere they're engaging in real time and have an engaging conversation with them with a consistent message, with a consistent voice. And then, of course, learn from the process what conversations are resonating the best, or how are they converting with those conversations? What channels do they prefer? Which channels are more effective than others at different points of the engagement? So what One Engagement Hub looks like from a framework or from a high-level point of view is sitting on top of all of your customer behavior across all your different channels, and again, listening to that behavior and looking for moments to recognize individuals. If you think about the way you work with your customers, they may be known in one channel as a customer. They may be interacting with your brand in another channel anonymously. Web, for example, they may be looking at your products or services on your website as an anonymous visitor, and you don't know if that's a net new prospect or if it's your preferred premier customer because they're anonymous. So the One Engagement Hub looks for moments to recognize those behaviors and match them together so that we know someone that's a customer is also a prospect, and use engagement analytics to analyze individuals. What are they doing? Where are they on their journey? What kind of conversations are they trying to have with you as a brand? And then using that insight and that analytics that's been collected to have a digital conversation with that individual in a descriptive and predictive way that's based upon their journey, not purely product-based, but journey-based. Where are they in their process of considering or purchasing a specific product, and allowing you to have a conversation that's relevant to where they are in their awareness and consideration of a specific product or service. So why is one different from other tools and technologies that may do some parts of that capability I just described? Is that it's really purpose-built to be different. It's built recognizing that you as an organization have made investments already that are working for you in some way or another. Maybe they work really well for the channel that they're supporting. So you need something that's very lightweight and agile and non-disruptive to the investments you've already made. It makes them better instead of replacing them. But at the same time, it needs to be omni-channel. It can't be just about the web or just about email or just about mobile. It has to recognize that your customers and prospects are engaging with you as a brand across multiple channels in real time. And it has to do that in a way that's channel agnostic, meaning we have to be focused on the journey that the individual is on and realize that he's trying to do something that is relevant to a specific step in a journey, and not so much channel-centric, but still be channel aware. He's trying to solve a customer service problem. He's doing it on the web or he's doing it in a call center. So realizing that is what he's trying to do, but then have the ability to deliver an asset that is optimized for that web property or that channel. Delivering insights then to what's working, what's not working across that entire ecosystem, not just in one specific website or one specific channel, but giving you as an organization insight across your entire ecosystem to how all of your programs are working, are campaigns you're running, moving them through the journey. Are they converting, or where are they converting, on which channel? And doing it in a way that is where our consumers expect. As Scott mentioned earlier, we have this high bar from other brands where consumers are expecting their digital experiences, their customer engagement experiences to be conversational. They don't want it to be this artificial start-stop that happens most of the time. If you think about your own human conversations, if you speak to someone, I spoke to someone yesterday that you know really well, maybe you were having a text chat with them, and then you see them today, you don't start the conversation as if you never were engaging with them yesterday. When you see them today, maybe at lunch or in the office, you continue the conversation that you had on a completely different medium yesterday because that's human behavior, and that's what we need to replicate as brands when we're engaging with customers. So let's take a quick look at an example of one in action. So this is Customer First Bank, and it's a lot like many of your organizations. They have many web properties, they've got mobile apps, they've got CRM or other technology for what we call the assisted channel or human channel, where humans are helping customers engage. And of course, they have campaigns. In this example, a specific customer, his name's Frugal Frank, is exploring investment products. And he happens to not only be exploring investment products, but he's an existing customer who is eligible for a premium customer package that's called PMA. And you'll notice that the One Engagement Hub is consistently delivering that conversation topic, that call to action, or that recommended whatever across every channel that Frank may be engaging with the bank. So whether he's on one website or another, he's going to see a very consistent call to action for PMA. Inside the call center, the agent will see a consistent call to action. In the mobile app, he'll see a consistent call to action because that's contextual based upon what Frank is trying to do right now, is to explore an investment product that might be the best fit for him. But the One Engagement Hub isn't just omni-channel, it's also channel aware. And what we mean by that is it is aware of what Frank is trying to do and gives you the option of delivering assets that are optimized for the channel that he's engaging with you on. Even better, it's also aware of where he is in his journey. So in this example, we're looking at Frank inside the CRM, and we can see that he's moved into an enrollment stage for the PMA. So the One Engagement Hub is not only aware that he's engaging with someone in the CRM, but he's also moved past just considering a product to where he's starting to enroll, and the conversation topic, the action that's presented here, is helping the sales agent have an engaging conversation by asking him if he has questions about the product, if he has questions about the enrollment process, or if he's having trouble enrolling on whatever channel he was on before. So it's very much continuing that conversation across a different ways that Frank might be engaging with this organization. Even more interestingly and more powerfully, that one isn't simply listening to an individual customer like Frank, it's also doing that across your entire customer base or prospect base. And it can do things like take something like a traditional static deliverable like a journey map and turn it into a visual, actionable tool to help you understand what's happening with your business. For example, you can see things like trends or where shifts are happening between channels or between websites. In this example, we have insight where we have an expensive trend happening. The customers who are exploring this PMA package on the web, when they get to enrollment, a vast majority of them are switching over to the call center. That's insight that helps you understand how you're engaging with your customers, but also where you have an opportunity potentially to both improve the engagement and the cost of sale by looking at why is that switch happening? Are they moving from the web when they're expiration to the call center for enrollment because there's something wrong on the website? Maybe the enrollment form is broken. Maybe the call to action to enroll on the website isn't effective. Maybe the phone number to get to the call center is a little bit too prominently displayed on the website. Regardless, it's insight you may not have had before as your customers are moving through the different channels on their journey to understand what's working, what's not working, and how you can better engage with them. So who are some brands that are making it happen today? So we have a variety of customers across industries, across sizes, large, small, nonprofit, Fortune 50, many different segments. And I think that the key thing that most of these customers who are currently using One Engagement Hub have in common is that there's a thought leader inside the organization that realizes that they need to have a stronger omni-channel customer engagement program that can become a competitive differentiator for their brand. So instead of simply focusing on one channel or another, thinking about customers in an omni-channel way is going to help them be more effective in competing in their respective industries. Two really quick examples. One is a company called Yellow, which is a utility part of EnBW in Germany, and their vision is to really disrupt the energy market within their marketplace by being really customer-centric. They want to compete by delivering a really high-value service rather than simply focusing on the cost of their energy or their cost of sale or cost of operation. They're focused on service first, and they think everything else will fall out from that. And the outcome they've received so far is that their contact center agents are really quickly able to see the last thing customers did on their digital properties in real time, so that when the call starts, the agent has a very contextual way of helping that customer. They understand, were they trying to submit a ticket? Do they have an outage? What was it they were trying to do on those other digital channels that forced them to call to them? And they can have a really engaging and relevant conversation without asking them 52 questions at the beginning of the call. And this helps reduce attrition. It also helps increase wallet share by raising their loyalty and affinity to their brand and other things that are important to that brand. Another example, I think a vast majority of the folks on this webinar are Americans, so replace football here with soccer, because Premier League is actually soccer in our language. One of the Premier League clubs in the UK is using the One Engagement Hub to drive engagement across their fan base. And they really wanted to understand fans who maybe couldn't make it to the stadium, fans who have an affinity for maybe a certain player, a certain opposing team, what channels do they prefer, and they really wanted to get down to a customer level insight, not segment, not persona, but right down to the individual customer. What's their preference? What's their need? What are their behaviors? And use that to engage in real time. And they've seen over 350,000 fans who were recognized that were previously anonymous in the first 6 weeks of turning on One Engagement Hub. That's allowed them to increase their membership. It's allowed them to increase their VIP program, the experience through VIP, to change maybe the features of the program based upon preferences, obviously increase enrollment in VIP. And as a cost side of things, it's helped them reduce the number of email campaigns because they're being much more targeted in the types of email and to whom they're sending email, because they have real-time insight and can send those messages and campaigns in a much more meaningful way. So to transition just briefly before we wrap up, in how we know this works are through a variety of research, our own research I mentioned earlier on, the Engagement 3.0 research we've been doing, but industry analysts and researchers as well have found that organizations who focus on journeys, the full customer journey, perform much better than those who focus on touch points. And touch points are our website or a channel, and they certainly matter. You absolutely need to deliver a strong experience on your website, a good mobile experience. Those matter, but they're not the end all of engaging with your customers. Thinking about how that fits into the rest of your interactions, the rest of your engagement with your customers, is what can really deliver results for your brand. And the two specific conclusions we pulled from this report that I think are the most insightful are organizations who focus on journey see much higher customer satisfaction, 30 to 40% improvement in customer satisfaction compared to their competitors who have a tendency to focus on specific channels or touch points. And we also see very high increases in business outcomes and the value that those brands are receiving from the investments they've made when they're focused on the overarching journey than opposed to focusing on strictly one or two channels. So with that, we'll wrap up. We have a moment or two. If you have questions, feel free to submit them on the webinar panel. All right, well, it looks like we don't have a lot of questions today. If you have questions afterwards, please feel free to contact us directly or your contacts at Avtex, and we'd be happy to continue the conversation with you at a future time. Thanks for attending today.